Welcome to another video. My name is Artem. I'm the founder of Different Breed Performance, and today I want to talk about how you could program your own way of implementing sprints and jumps in your own training. Maybe you've been doing a drama training lately by yourself or for a longer time and always wondered how can I implement sprints and jumps just because they're fun. Maybe you want to improve your sprints, maybe you want to jump higher, where it might be. The goal is to go through three different criterias of why and how you could implement sprints and jumps into your own training. And if I do sound a bit weird, it's because my nose is a bit clogged. So that's why I've been sick past week and been healthy now for I think a few like 4 or 5 days, but still feel like my voice sounds on different days better and on different days worse. Today's not a good day, but we're gonna go through that anyways and try to make the most out of it. So the number one thing when it comes to programming sprints and jumps is that they are, opa, let's see this, important. Let's see if I can write like this. Important. And it might maybe sound pretty obvious. Let's see if this stands like this. Yeah, there we go. So how you could program sprints and jumps. Number one, they're very important for you. Like, I mean, if you're thinking of developing your athletic qualities, sprints and jumps is the number one thing. I think every single athlete, every single coach loves sprinting and jumping. I think it's probably the most fun thing there is to do. I've never had an athlete that's told me that they don't enjoy doing any sprints when it's competing against somebody else or me as their coach. And I've never seen anybody not enjoying some sort of jump challenge, where it's, jumping for height, if it's jumping for length, for example, like a broad jump, doing a double broad jump, um, lateral broad jumps, whether we're jumping with weights, box jumps, you name it, everything like that. And same thing with coming with sprints, doing 10 meters, 20, 40, 100. And I just think that these two things are extremely important. I mean, they're kind of the king and queen of athletic qualities. I mean, if you have an athlete that actually knows how to sprint and someone that can actually jump far and high, it's incredible. And it's like things that really stick out to you. I mean, if you see someone strong, it's cool, but not as cool as seeing someone that can actually sprint quickly, get the mark or reach a high top end speed, and someone that can jump pretty far and high. So the number one thing is that they're very important and they should be in your program no matter what. I mean, depending on what you're training for, yeah, you can lower and increase the frequency of it, but they should always be in your program, which leads us into number two, which is frequency. Let's see this. Not the best writing, but we're making the most out of it. So frequency. Frequency is how many times a week should you be doing your sprints and jumps. I think that if you are, say, an advanced athlete that's been training for a long time, say 4 or 5 years at least, and you are not competing right now, maybe you've retired or just in an off season, you could be doing sprints at least 2 times a week. If you're in season, I think like just doing sprints once a week is enough, because most athletes will probably train 3 or 4 times a week with their team and maybe do some stuff on the side, like say 1 or 2 strength sessions. I think implementing the speed or the sprint sessions is enough once a week, and trying to do it. My goal has always been to do it 2 days before a game day. So say for example that you have a game day on a Saturday, I will do my sprints, really hitting that top end velocity on a Thursday, for example. And then on a Tuesday, you could do more acceleration based stuff. So you're still gonna kind of 2 sprint sessions, but the Tuesday is going to be more acceleration, so short distances, while a Thursday is going to be longer distances of say 30 meters plus, while a Tuesday would be 10 or 20 meters. And the jumps, I think, same thing principle there. I've always loved to structure my um, sprinting and jumps to do both of them. So I'll do some jumping as a prep before my sprint work. It can be low intensive, so just doing like easy, low intensive plyos. It could be more advanced intensive plyos. So I would say the go-to would be whenever you have a more, say, easier day, like not a high intensive day, do more lighter stuff of plyometric training or jumps. And then your high intensive day, for example, this would be a Thursday, then you would do more of the intensive and lower volume of jumping just to prep for your sprint work. But my go-to from trying different things has been now for the past 3 years to always implement both my sprints and my jumps together in one session and trying to do those at least 2 times a week. So it would be kind of, if you've ever heard of the high-low model, where Monday would be a low day because mostly as a football player, like my background there, we would have a game on a Saturday or Sunday, and say it was on a Sunday, Monday would be a off day or a very low intensive day. Tuesday would be a bit more intensive. Wednesdays low intensive or off again. Thursdays intensive. Friday is low, and then we have a game on Saturday or Sunday. So you're getting that high, low kind of volume there. So that's why I would put it, my sprints and jumps in a Tuesday and a Thursday, which brings us into point number 3, which is, let me see, I can write this like a normal human being. There we go, structure. Not the best, but still again. So structure, that's number 3, and it would basically be like how I would structure my sprints and jumps, which I sort of already told you. Tuesdays and Thursdays would be where I put, both the sprints and the jumps together. So sprints and jumps would be on a Tuesday and a Thursday, and even on the Saturday when you're doing actually your game day. So that's why I think, it's good in season to just stick with one session of actually reaching top end speed. So I'm talking sprints, like actually reaching 30, 40 meters of, high quality sets, reps. So just doing even between 1 and 3 sprints is enough. And an important thing to think about when structuring it and the frequency of it is that if you have taken a break or if you're coming back from an injury, um, then don't go too much on the volume and the intensity. It's better off than sticking with, like, say, 5, 10, 15 meter sprints and keeping it very low, because it's more important for you to feel good at the end of the session and feel like, okay, I put in some work, I feel good, that you can also repeat it again later that day instead of just feeling completely dead. Because if you feel dead after doing a sprint or jump session, 9 times out of 10 or even 10 times out of 10, you've gone too hard. And especially if you're coming back from an injury or you've taken a big break, it's better to be on the safer side than pushing through too much. So that's why I think when you're structuring your sprints and jumps, think about doing it on days where you're doing also like more high intensive stuff, and in the beginning keeping it very low on the volume side. And then after, say, month 2, I would say, so these have like 4 6 weeks where you actually done like a bit more lower volume, lower intensity, you can start, progressing it to higher um, distances. So it could be 20 meters plus. So again, going 20 meters, 30, 40. I would wait quite a long time. Again, if you haven't done any sprinting in a long time, I would wait maybe even 3 4 months before touching upon 100 meters, because it's so taxing on your nervous system that going straight back into just because you've done it before is kind of a risk. Either you're gonna succeed and nothing's gonna happen to you, or you're gonna fail and you're gonna pull a hamstring or maybe something else instead. So I think it's just like it's way better if you're coming back from retirement or just long time not doing anything athletic or from an injury, to start on the lower end and feeling good at the end of the session and the next day, compared to just going guns blazing because you felt good that day. Think about this: a day tomorrow and a day after that as well. But if you're healthy, then you could start immediately, going, say, Tuesdays, you're doing your short distances and together with some jumps. And then on Thursdays, you're doing more of your high intensity. So longer distances, actually sprinting at top speed and doing more intensive types of jumps. So to summarize the whole thing, I would say that they are pretty important. Well, not even pretty, they're very important. I think we've established that by now. The frequency should be, if you are in season, once a week is fine for like doing actually high intensive. So once a week, high intensive sprinting and jumping, which would be, in my opinion, best done 2 days before a game or maybe 3 days before a game as a power day. And if you are off season, you could do it 2 times, maybe even touching upon three. So there would be like say like a Tuesday, a Thursday, and a Saturday, where you would do your sprinting and jumping. And then say if you're off season, the Tuesday could be high intensive, um, Thursday could be a bit lower intensive, and then Saturday can be again high intensive. And then for the structure, I think from my own experience, the best way to structure it is just by doing like that. So say that in season you're doing nothing on Monday. Tuesday you do some accelerations, low level plyos, jumps. Wednesday you don't do nothing, and then Thursday you do your like, top end speed and more high intensive jumps where you're competing against other people or competing with yourself, putting a cone somewhere and trying to jump further than that cone or trying to beat a time on a sprint. Friday you do nothing, and then you have your game. If you're in season or if you're not in season, you can go again, maybe high intensive, or kind of find that sweet spot in the middle, working more on running mechanics or just getting a bit more of volume in for your jumping. So this is how I would structure it up and have been doing for the past 3 years with my sprints and jumps, and I feel like it's made a huge difference in the way I perform as an athlete and also as a coach. In that you're getting quite a nice amount of volume if they are more advanced, and you're getting nice, like I said, volume, intensity, and actually competing and progressively becoming better and better. So we might stick to a variation for say 2, 3 weeks and then switch it up. So, for example, it could be for our sprints, we are doing straight line running for 3 weeks, competing there. Then we switch it up with doing some more zigzag running or curvilinear after that. So always having 3, 4 different variations that we're just gonna rotate around and coming back again then to just straight linear running. And then we can just progress it by increasing the amount of the distance that we're running, or the amount of reps that we're doing, or the intensity that we're doing it at. And the same thing goes for the jumping. So we might do 3 weeks of single broad jumps, and then we'll do 3 weeks of double broad jumps. It could be then lateral broad jumps, jumping to the left and then back to the right. It could be box jumps, whatever it is. Just like find some variations and just kind of rotate through those. Because then we can come back. Okay, this was my previous record. How is this looking now? Both for your jumps and your sprints. I hope you found this of value, and I will see you in the next video.